Hi everyone. Now we're going to deal with a cross-text connection kind of a question. Whenever you get these two texts, whenever you get any two texts in a particular question on the SATs, you should know that this is the cross-text connection type of a question. Now the question here is going to be majorly surrounded around the relationship the two texts share with each other. Now the kind of relationships that they can share can be, positive, negative, or it can be a further elaboration on something. Understand one thing, that both the texts are going to be written, now both the texts are written by two different authors. Alright, so text 1 is by a different author, text 2 is also by a different author. The only thing common between text 1 and text 2 would be the topic of discussion. So even though they are written by two different authors, the topic of discussion is going to remain the same. Alright, now let's go ahead and read the question stem for this particular question that we are dealing with. Based on the text, what would the author of text 2 most likely say about text 1's characterization of the discovery involving EGR? So what do I understand from the question? I have to identify what the author of text 2 thinks or can say about some discovery that is mentioned in text 1 involving EGR. So wherever in the text 1 you find something about EGR, pay a little extra attention to it, and when you read text 2, try and think that what can this author really say about this particular discovery made in text 1. What can his or her opinion be about it, right? Also, just pay a little attention to this particular question stem which has based on the text, and we already know, because of the central ideas and details, we already know that this is a detailed type of a question, right? So in this particular type of question, the cross-text connection type of a question, you will find central idea and details also come into the picture, right? Which basically just means that in a particular location your answer will be given very directly to you. Right? Now with this understanding, we've understood the question, so let's just go ahead and read our text 1 and text 2 and try and understand what is that relationship that they really share. Let's read the text 1. Most animals can regenerate some parts of their bodies, such as skin. So we're talking about animals who can regenerate some parts of their bodies. Great. But when a three-banded panther worm is cut into 3 pieces, each piece grows into a new worm. So, then we move on to talking about three-banded panther worm. What happens when we cut it into 3 pieces? Each piece grows into a new worm. Researchers are investigating this feat partly to learn more about humans' comparatively limited abilities to regenerate. So now I understand why are they really talking about, or exploring more about these three-banded panther worms or the animals who can regenerate. They are trying to identify some similarity between humans and these creatures who can regenerate. So humans comparatively limited abilities to regenerate. So they're trying to learn more about this limitation that humans have when it comes to regeneration. And they are making exciting progress. So whatever the progress is, it's on the right track. And especially promising discovery is that both humans and panther worms have a gene for early growth response linked to regeneration. So what is that exciting discovery that they are talking about? It's basically this, that humans and panther worms have one particular gene in common which basically leads to regeneration. So they are being optimistic about this particular discovery because this gene is in common between panther worms and humans. Right? And what is that gene? That's the early growth response we are talking about. Right? Now this is exactly what the question is about, correct? So there was a discovery made in text 1. How does the author of text 2 feel about this particular discovery discussed in text 1? Let's read the text 2. When Mansi Shrivastava and her team reported that panther worms like humans possess a gene for EGR, it caused excitement. So, we are talking about Mansi and her team. They got excited listening to this discovery, right? Even they were excited. Let's read ahead. However, as the team pointed out, the gene likely functions very differently in humans than it does in panther worms. So there is a however, which means there's going to be some kind of a twist. And what is the twist? The team said that this particular gene that they found to be common in both panther worms and humans, they work differently in humans than it does in panther worms. So there's a difference, right? In their function, there's a difference. Shrivastava has linked EGR to a switch that activates other genes involved in regeneration in panther worms, but how this switch operates in humans remains unclear. So there's a switch which is basically getting activated because of EGR in pantherworms, but how's this switch really working in humans is not clear yet. So basically what I understand is that, in text 2 we are talking about a possible limitation in the discovery made in text 1, and that we need to learn more about it in order to understand if this EGR really helpful or not, or the gene that they found is really helpful for early growth response or not in humans as well. Alright, now with this understanding, I've understood the relationship. So text 1 is basically giving you the discovery, right? And the author is being optimistic about that discovery. But in text 2, the author is basically saying that, we need to do more research to be really optimistic, right? We have to know more about it. Alright, let's go ahead and start eliminating our options. A. It is reasonable given that Srivastava and her team have identified how EGR functions in both humans and pantherworms. Now, this is my problem. What the problem is it's in the second part. Fine, it can be reasonable, that's okay, but the problem is that they have still not identified how EGR functions in humans. That's the problem, correct? In the last sentence of text 2, they clearly mentioned that how's that switch operating in humans, it's not clear yet. So they have not really identified how EGR functions in humans, correct? So A is definitely out as it's contradicting the text 2. Now B, it is overly optimistic given additional observations from Srivastava and her team. So the author of text 2 could say that, we can't be so optimistic about this discovery because of whatever Srivastava and her team has found, right? How this EGR is functioning differently in both humans and the pantherworms. So they are not so sure yet about the discovery that they made, or if it's going to be helpful for humans or not. So this is definitely making sense as of now. The author of text 2 can definitely say that we can't be so optimistic because of the observations noticed by Srivastava and her team. So I'm going to hold on to this option and still go ahead and try and eliminate C and D. C, it is unexpected given that, okay, let's stop this. It is unexpected. Now, there was a certain reluctance in text 2 about the discovery, but that was only because they want to do more research. They want to know more about it, right? But there's no unexpected scenario here, correct? There's no such unexpected scenario given here. You can read ahead. It is unexpected given that Srivastava and her team's findings were generally met with enthusiasm. Now, it's not about generally being met with enthusiasm. So Srivastava and her team was initially definitely, excited about this discovery, and they are still excited about it. It's just that they want to do further research. How is that switch working or operating in humans? It's unclear. So they'll probably have to do more research. So C is definitely out. They would not say that this research is unexpected. Correct? So C is definitely out. D, it is unfairly dismissive given the progress. Okay, hold on. It is unfairly dismissive. They are not dismissing the discovery made in text 1, right? The author of text 2 is not saying that, the discovery that they have mentioned in text 1, let's just completely dismiss it. It's very extreme to say that, the author is going to say that it's unfairly dismissive. They just want to do further research. They just have to know more. So D, I can eliminate just because of the mention of unfairly dismissive. Right? So D is definitely out and B is our correct option. I could not find any word that could go wrong over here.